You're eager to improve your piano skills, but finding the right piece to play next sometimes feels like a very difficult balancing act. Some are too easy, while others feel overwhelming. And it's also tough to figure out exactly what level you're at. You know, each piece demands a large time investment, so you don't want to pick a piece that's not right for you and waste your time. In this video, I want to help you to know how to choose the right next piece for you so that you'll grow as a piano player without frustration. First, I want to introduce to you a framework I personally use for really any skill I learn in life. I use this framework for learning how to cook, for sports, for learning other languages, and particularly for music as well. Okay, this framework is called the ZPD. I actually learned this in my Masters of Teaching. So I'm going to throw that on the screen here. Let's have a look at this one. I want you to use this simple graphic to think about the piano pieces you play. Okay, so it's kind of like a little dartboard, and in the middle, this is your comfort zone. This is the bullseye. Learner can do unaided. So these are the kind of things you can do quite easily. This could be things like, let's say, playing, for example, C major scale, or maybe it's playing Bach's Minuet in G. You can do it kind of like almost with your eyes closed. You can do it pretty well. Let's go to the next level outside. Okay, this is called the ZPD, the Zone of Proximal Development. Very fancy term. But basically this level are the kind of pieces that you should be tackling all the time as a piano player. So it's the pieces that are not in your comfort zone, but just a little bit outside of your comfort zone. Let's say, for example, you've played a couple of pieces that has one sharp. So perhaps a next goal for you might be to play something with two sharps or three sharps, just to extend yourself a little bit. And then on the outside circle, this is what the learner cannot do. So you as a piano player, this, by the way, applies to really any skill in life. You don't want to touch this level. This is a waste of time. This is the equivalent of, let's say, for example, a baby who hasn't learned how to walk yet and to get the baby running. This is something that is so much outside your comfort zone that it is not worth entertaining. Okay, you should focus on what you actually can do with some guidance first. If a piece is too easy, you're not developing new techniques, and it will lead to boredom. On the other hand, if it's too difficult, you'll feel stuck, which often leads to frustration and a loss of confidence. So finding that balance, finding that kind of like sweet spot that just expands you just enough, the ZPD, is going to be the thing that keeps you on track and keeps helping you make consistent progress throughout your journey. I actually wrote a free PDF called the Essential Piano Roadmap that helps you to assess what piano level you're at, what you need to do to upgrade to the next level, and also the pieces you should be prioritizing on each level. It will summarize a lot of what I'll be talking about in today's video. So if you want this free Essential Piano Roadmap PDF, make sure you check out the link in the description below. Now, in the Essential Piano Roadmap PDF, I roughly talk about piano in terms of three rough levels. Okay, we have the essential level, we have the intermediate level, and we have the mastery level. So even through today's video, let's see how you kind of like rate yourself roughly on these three levels. Okay, level 1 is the essential level. So this is roughly the beginner level. I'm talking about someone that's played piano for, 1 to 2 years. In this level, roughly speaking, you're learning all the basic essential techniques. You're learning how to read sheet music, right? You're learning how to play the right notes. You're learning how to coordinate your hands, right? Coordinating your hands is a big task in piano playing because, you have to sort of strike certain notes at certain times, sometimes together, sometimes not together. It's just a very difficult brain task to say the least. In this essentials level, you are basically completely thinking about the mechanics of piano playing, right? What fingers to use? Am I playing the right sharp? Am I playing the right notes? You're learning, basic scales. You're learning basic chords. And you're chipping away at these pieces, okay? Pieces are roughly speaking going to be, not super duper difficult to read. Maybe one sharp, maybe two sharps, maybe one flat or two flats. And they're generally shorter as well, 1 page, 2 page. Let's move on now to the intermediate level. So if you're an intermediate piano player, you're likely playing something like this. In the intermediate level, we're roughly dealing with more complex coordination. And also, you start to become a player that sort of like thinks a little bit less about mechanics and more about music making. And this is where I want to introduce another framework for you to think about in terms of how to pick your next piece. Okay, so with every single piano piece you play, I want you to always think about this rough scale of, let's say, 0 to 10, and 0 is thinking about mechanics, and 10 is thinking about music making. So mechanics versus music making. So mechanics refer to things like thinking about fingerings, thinking about, am I playing the right notes? Thinking about, am I playing the right sharps or flats? Whenever someone starts learning a piece, everyone starts at level 0. You're thinking about the mechanics. What fingers to use? Am I playing the right notes? Am I playing the right sharps and flats? That kind of thing. And as you get more comfortable with the notes, you get comfortable with the sharps, flats, and etc., you start to move across the scale, from 0 to 2 and 4 to 6, eventually to 10. Okay, 10 is where you're thinking about music making. You're thinking about almost like the expressive quality about it. You're thinking about how to bring up more emotions. I want to introduce this framework to you because I think by asking this question of yourself, you can also roughly gauge at your level of piano playing. So if you find that when you're on the piano, you're sort of like constantly asking about mechanical kind of questions, then I would rate you roughly a little bit more in the beginner level, okay? Because the intermediate player is someone that's actually starting to think about how to express things better, how to bring up more emotions. And this obviously comes with some training. It comes with some music theory work. It comes with sight reading work, right? It comes from playing, 10 plus, 15 plus pieces, getting comfortable with different key signatures. There's a certain confidence, there's a certain kind of like wisdom, and you approach pieces with a sense of, I'm gonna learn the notes first, and then I'm gonna start to learn how to perform the piece. Let's have a quick look at the final level of piano playing, level 3. This is the mastery level. So I just played there Mozart's Ronda alla Turca and then Chopin's Nocturne in E flat major, which a lot of my students tend to be surprised at. That was roughly rated as an advanced piece rather than an intermediate level piece. Just trivia, that piece is particularly hard because of the left hand and lots of right hand ornaments. You can check out the sheet music if you want to have a look. At level 3, at this mastery advanced level, so you're probably someone that has some technical dexterity. You know what you're doing. You've, let's say, done your scales and arpeggios training. You've done a whole bunch of pieces. You know how to sight read. You have some good music theory knowledge. You almost start learning each piece not from level 0. Like whatever piece you pull out, you actually start from lesson number 5. You have a certain technical ability that you're not actually thinking about mechanics from the very start. You're almost starting at 5 and just like moving from 5 to 10 in your learning journey. Now in this video, I've showed you a couple of pieces, but in this PDF, I actually have so many other pieces that I've ranked as the essentials level, the intermediate level, and then the advanced mastery level. I want you to check this out and use it as a checklist for maybe like what you've played to give you a better idea of what level you're currently at. So let's talk about some practical things for how to choose the right song or right piece for you. Number 1, you need to assess your skill level. You need to reflect on how you did with your recent pieces and what areas you want to improve. Is it, let's say, finger agility? Is it, let's say, block chords? Is it, let's say, scales? Next, you need to consider how much practice time you're going to commit to piano. If, let's say, you're able to play from anywhere from 15 minutes to 30 minutes per day, I suggest that you start by learning shorter pieces. If you can practice, let's say 30 minutes to 60 minutes, then I recommend you to play maybe slightly longer pieces that are, let's say, 3 to 4 minutes. Next up, I want you to experiment with different styles as well. If you remember, the right next piano piece for you is the piece that is not in your comfort zone. It's actually within your comfort zone plus a little more, right? It's just a little bit outside. So I want you to experiment with playing some other style. Okay, let's say you're a classical piano player, maybe to try something that isn't classical, maybe to try contemporary music to expand on your versatility. Hopefully this video is helpful for you in starting that discussion on what piano piece to play next. If you want a comprehensive PDF that I've written with all the pieces I recommend in these 3 levels, why they're in there, and the skills you need to tick off to move to the next level, please download my essential piano roadmap that I'll put in the link in the description below. Happy practicing, and I'll catch you in the next video.